This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN Network. And joining me today is Ronen Luzon. He is the founder and CEO of MySize Inc. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is MYSZ on NASDAQ. Ronen, great to have you back. How you doing?
Good. Great to be here. Thanks.
It's great to have you back. And how's everybody holding up out there? Safe and sound? Offices open?
Safe and sound. We just reopened the office. This is the second week. Everybody's back to work. Israel is back on its feet and starting to rock and roll back again.
That's great to hear. And the beaches are open. I think you told me offline.
The beaches are open. That's the most important thing.
All right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially now when the sun is out.
Look, side notes, Israeli beaches are some of the best beaches of the world, but we digress. We could do a whole nother interview just on that.
We'll do the second one.
Yeah, the second. All right. So it's been a while since we had you on the program. So I want to quickly start with an overview and history of MySize, and then we'll go from there.
All right. So I've started MySize back in 2014. And the vision behind the company was to change the way people buying clothes online, due to the fact that every brand and every retailer has different size chart and different sizes. So when you're buying a t-shirt in one brand, it doesn't mean that you have the same size in another brand. And that's where the problem starts. And us as a consumer, we just get frustrated with getting different sizes, but the retailers are paying for it for the back and forth. There's a lot of returns. And what MySize have done in order to overcome it, we develop a solution, a technology, that basics technology that uses the mobile phone sensors and an algorithm we develop. And we know to measure the distance the phone is traveling just by moving it from one place to another. So if we can illustrate it over our Zoom meeting, so if, for example, you want to measure your height, you take a mobile device, put it on the floor next to your feet, pick it up and put it on your head. And just by moving the mobile device from the floor to the head, we know to measure your height based on the distance the phone is traveling. And that is the core of our patent. So there's no pictures taken, there's no extra sensors, just movement of your mobile device. And this is our main technology. So it's everything to do with measuring distances with your mobile device. On this technology, we wrote 4 patents, where 2 of them already granted. We're working now on the 5th and the 6th, but are there. 2 of them granted, as I said, 2 are still pending. And on surrounding this solution, we developed several solutions for different segments. One of them is the apparel, the jacket you're wearing, what size you need in a different brand. Probably you don't know, but if you use MySize, we will give you a size recommendation. The same thing for your dress shirt, the same thing for lingerie for women we're doing today, menswear, sportswear, everything to do with sizing for apparel. It's a crucial thing in the digital world, especially for retailers and for us as consumers. And nowadays with the COVID, everything to do with social distancing. How you enter a store now without going to try something on because the fitting room are closed. You need something to help you determine what size you need and do the checkout with still with not touching much of the things. It will help you're confident to rebuy something in the store. So that's one of MySizeID strength. Other segment is logistics, measuring packages. Again, same thing, same issue. Us as the consumers, we want to send a package from one place to another. We need a measuring device, and mobile phone is always there for us. We're using that with MySize technology, and we have a solution. We have a product called BoxSize, which we recently incorporated with Honeywell and Zebra devices as well, which were completely certified on them. And you can measure packages and get price quotes. Logistic companies can get all the information on the package and sizes for deliveries, for routing planning, everything surrounding that. And that's what MySize is doing. And just a side note, it's very, very much connected to the sustainability world we're living in. Everything to do with apparel. Apparel is the second largest polluted industry in the today after oil and gas because of all the returns, that we are doing, us as a consumers. And if we knew our size before we are buying something, probably we'll return less. And that is some of each and every one of us, that we need to guard this place that we are living in, and that's what MySize technology is contributing to as well.
You know, when you said, you know, we'll be able to tell, you know, your jacket size, your shirt size, and then you said lingerie, I thought you were talking about for me. I was like, okay, that's on Tuesday. Okay, you know.
You don't know me that good, Ronen.
Yeah, right.
You don't know me that
good. So you already alluded a little bit to my next question. Like I said, we hadn't had you on here for about 2 years. So let's get into some of the highlights for the company. Let's say in the last 12 months or so.
So it took us a long time to develop this product. So we've launched the company in 2014. When I've launched it, it's publicly traded from day one. And when we've launched it, it was just a dream, just an idea. There was no product, there was no company. Sorry, there was a company. There was no solution. The technology didn't work. It took us 4 years to make this thing happen. Some people call it magic. So we made that magic happen, and we were able to measure distances using a mobile device. So we just finished the development late 2018. We've presented the first product in the Fashion Week in New York in September 2018, and we just started selling in 2019. And as every new technology product, when you have the product, first year, it's very hard. You trying and you bring it out to customers, and you tweak it and you change it according to the customer needs, and sometimes you have bug and sometimes it doesn't work accordingly. So 2019 was a year that we tested a product in the real market, and we had huge successes with that. And we have great success stories like US Polo in the US that are using it and very happy with the product, with the solution that helped them to decrease return dramatically and increase their conversion dramatically. And it's a product that bringing them revenues. The ROI is almost immediate. Pantene in Turkey, which they have about 800 stores in Europe, and today they are using the product like crazy. Actually, in the online stores, they've implemented this our technology in the stores, especially for the social distancing. So they made a special wall inside every store of Pantene. There is a special wall that is dedicated from MySizeID, that consumer can go there and measure themselves, and there's the illustration on the wall itself how to use it, and the clerk in the store helped them to make it happen. And that is a success story, that the retailers like that, and we can see MySize. Pantene is selling lingerie and swimwear. US Polo, everybody know US Polo. Boys Jeans selling denim. Demolian is selling uniforms for kids, for schools. And they all use MySize technologies. We've been recently a branch in Italy, in Milan, and we already have several successes there. We have a huge success that we haven't told about with the logistical segment of MySize in Italy, a government institute that start using our solution. So that is what happened in the last 2 years. We hit the product out, so the product is up and running, success stories, and now we can see some traction going in the system. We can see the confidence level of consumers and retailers. So this is what happened, and that's why I'm smiling all the time, because I finally see this baby comes to life and start working. Like you're a little kid, you know, you every day you see something else. It's the same thing here. So you see a global market suddenly start using your solution, and it's good, and it makes them smile, and that's what happened in the last 2 years. And I think that's a great thing for MySize.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I think sometimes, especially, you know, because I've known MySize now for a while, we've done interviews now together for a while, and you know, the company's been putting out a lot of news, let's say in the last 6 months to a year. You know, and I'm sure my investor audience really wants to know, you know, from your perspective and management and the board's perspective, what would you say is that big crucial inflection point where, you know, you guys are growing, you hit that point, and then from there it takes off. You know, what do you guys envision as that main point?
You know, we sent out a projection, if you can call it the projection for 2020, before COVID started, that we're going to hit 20 million size recommendation through our engine. Now, our main revenue engine from MySize is the size recommendation on the apparel side. Every time you as a consumer click to get the jacket size you need, we charge the retailer that you are visiting his website between 10 cents and down to 1 cent, depend on the volume that they have. The main revenue model. And 20 million, everybody can do the calculation. It ranges between those ranges that I just mentioned. And it's still not a significant number, yes, but it is a significant number for a company that starts from zero. And now we can see on the last like 4 months, we can see a ramping up starting out. So in February, through our engine, we're about 95,000 size recommendation per month. Today in June, we are predicting about to reach 1 million per month size recommendation. And that's only in 4 months. And this dramatic increase in total of size recommendation, it represents only a penetration of our product between 1 to 7% in our retailers' website. And I will explain what is the 1 to 7% penetration is. For example, a customer like a retailer like US Polo, he has about 300,000 unique visitors in his website every month. So US Polo only about 3% out of his customers that visiting his stores, online store, are using MySizeID. Okay, so that represents the penetration. And why the penetration is so low? Takes time. Takes time for consumers to adopt, and it takes time for understanding, okay, we have this button here, what does it do? Does it help me? So let me click on it, let me see if it helps. So it comes over time, and we can see in Panty's, for example, case, that Panty reached about 7% penetration. So it's ramping up, and every 1% of penetration increase, it's a massive amount of size recommendation that goes through our engine. So when I'm saying 800% in ramping up in 4 months, and we reach in June, we will hit probably the 1 million. So we can see a dramatic increase from there on. And that is an inflection point. That's an inflection point because that will bring the revenue into MySize. And we can predict that in 2021, I can see that MySize recommendation engine will hit the hundreds of millions size recommendation that will stream through our engine. And then we can see a real revenue stream that comes into MySize, and we can be finally cash flow positive.
Got it. So just real quick follow up on the model itself. So you guys make money every time. Let's say I go on US Polo's website. You guys make money every time that I click the button to get a size recommendation, and then
that's right.
Okay, so then you guys must have done the math that more often than not, these retailers will get a sale if a user goes in and gets the size recommendation. What happens if they're not going in and making a purchase? The retailer still owes you guys the money for even doing the recommendation?
That's right. So we get paid nevertheless if you are doing a transaction or not. But what our data shows us, and what statistical shows, is that I will give you a small number statistical in the apparel industry, in the online mainly. It's 70% out of the cart that being put into the online stores are being abandoned. 70%. So, and most of the cases, because consumers, us, are not confident enough in what we put in the cart. And mainly it's because of sizing and fit. Because we saw that gray jacket, we saw that gray dress, we put it in the cart, but before we hit the transaction button and we put a credit card in, we're, wait, maybe it will not fit me. Maybe the size is wrong. I never bought there before, so I don't know. Okay, well, we'll leave it for later. And that is the main problem. Decreasing that amount from the 70%, that's what we are seeing with integrating MySizeID technology into those websites, that the cart abandonment number goes down. And that is a direct influence on their bottom line. So yes, we do charge retailers before the customers are doing transaction, but for once it's a very small number. So it goes down. For example, if you click 3 times, so they pay 30 cents. Okay, so they pay 30 cents on you on your journey, even if you don't buy anything. But think about if you bought something, if you bought those 3 items and you earn 2 of them, we return all 3, they're paying about $30 on the shipment of back and forth. And if one of the items got damaged, they probably lost on the deal selling you something. So, and that's the logic behind it. Retailers understand it. Retailers love it. And they see the conversion goes up. They see the confidence level of their user goes up. And mainly the brand loyalty, the brand exposure. Because if you bought in a brand and you got the item and it fits you just right, you love this brand. Next time you go back to this brand and say, this is a great brand. I love it because the items fit me just as I want it to be. And that's where the psychology behind sizing, behind MySizeID. It's not just giving you the right size. There is apparel. It's something that is emotional. We're buying a jacket, we're buying the dress, emotional. It's not that we always need that dress. We always need that jacket. It's something that emotional we're doing, and that's where MySizeID is coming into play. And I think that's where the business model comes in. That's where we are affecting the journey, the consumer journey of consumers when they're buying something online. Retailers understand it.
You know, it's interesting you say that because I'm one of those that, you know, especially now in our e-commerce and buying clothes online, you know, ways, I guess I'll buy 5 of different colors and different sizes, get it here, and then I'll keep 1 and send it back. You know, so I can only imagine that hurts retailers immensely.
Retailers are losing on your transactions, man.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I just broadcast that to the world. I'm so. So
they will ban you now.
Yeah, now they know. They're like, oh, I'm just. Robert's coming in and buying clothes. Like, geez, I'm gonna keep 1 out of the 10. Anyways, so I also have to ask Ronen, you know, on a more serious note, you know, how has COVID-19 impacted the company?
So we can see it in 2 angles. If I'm looking at the tier 0 retailers that we've signed up and we're just about to start using us, and one of them will start rolling out in June this year. So they stopped everything. They stopped like all their operational. They stopped. And when I asked why, they said, look, Ronen, some of them have about 90% out of the revenues are coming from the offline market. So they said 90% of the revenues just like cut off in a day. The other one was 95% of revenues coming from the offline stores. So they said we've just stopped everything until we got cleared out. So then we've realized, because we put everybody out, all the personnel, everybody was on leave. So on that aspect, it was bad for us. Because we had those announcements out to the market and we're really waiting for that names to pop out and starting the rollout and put the names out there and see how technology actually work on those retailers, which is great for us. We worked so hard to bring that in, and the pilots and everything to do with that. We finally won it. We want to see it out, and what got delayed. So that was a pretty sad thing, but it will come again, hopefully very soon. On the other end, the small retailers and the online business, you can see those 800% ramp up in business, which retailers that are already working with us. And the majority of this ramping up is not from new retailers. It's from current retailers using our products and love it. and their customers have started, the penetration was higher and the usage was higher because the product works so good. And that was the good thing about COVID for us. So we've seen a lot of made to measure, for example, all the made to measure industry that today they don't have any other means, so they came from MySize. We saw all the different retailers that were on the fence in terms of sale process. Now they jumped off and they came back to us and they want to start renegotiating and starting checking and installing our solution again. So it brought a lot of awareness. It cut down red tape for retailers. Amazing, like retailers just cut down and want to start immediately because they saw they don't have any other choices. Everybody went to the online business, and online business are struggling because of returns. And as bigger the online business, the bigger the returns are, and the bigger the returns, they're losing more money. So they need to find a solution for it. So MySize is one of the digital tools that can solve this issue, and that's why retailers are coming for us. And we are very unique. We're very unique at what we do and what we offer in the market. We are the only one who actually making with your mobile device. We know the real measurement. That's why made to measure clothes are coming to us as well. And that's what COVID made for us, and it's great.
So from what you can tell us, what are the 1 to 2 things that investors should look out for the rest of 2020?
I would say one thing is exposure and reopening offices. As you know or you don't, just raised another $5 million into the company. And the majority of those $5 million will go to sales and marketing because the product is up and running and working. And now the main thing is to get exposure, put boots on the ground in those countries that have the majority of the retailers, global retailers. We just opened in France recently. We put 2 executives in France, where they hold a lot of retailers that affecting our global buyout, everything to do with you buying a Louis Vuitton, right? So
yeah, me and a Louis Vuitton. I think we could all see me and a Louis Vuitton. All right.
So exposure. So putting open offices. Italy, we've opened recently. So we've seen Slam, we've seen Refrigerator just joined us as well. Other retailers that we start working with that affect the global our global consumers' retail habits. We're going to open in Russia very soon. Where Russia, the mobile and the e-commerce market is huge. There are retailers there who have a traffic of about 80 to 100 million visits per month in their online stores, which is crazy numbers, huge market. And it's a huge continent. So the online there is huge. The logistic there is huge. And these 2 segments is great for us. So opening offices, getting new presence there, putting boots on the ground and salespeople to sell there. This is one milestones that if I were investor and I would look at a company that has more exposure, it will bring more sales. It will bring more sales, and every one of those retailers who affect globally, the numbers are multiples. So the numbers are multiples, and we've seen what happened now. This is one thing. The other thing is big names that hopefully I'm saying it so for so long that I'm getting tired of hearing myself, but it is what it is. We've worked so hard. Hopefully that this year we'll see one of those coming up. Hopefully more than one. But those names will make a change. In the marketing, in the approach of us to MySize, the legitimacy of the system. But we will, from time to time, we will put out the number that goes through our engine and recommendation engine, and we'll see the ramp up still going out. And this is another factor. This is another sign of what's the usage, how MySize is actually impacting what we do, and how us as a consumers and retailers behave.
All right. Well, with that, where can my audience go and find everything they need to know about MySize Inc.?
So you can log into our website, MySizeID.com. There is the investor relations there as well, and there's the MySize that holds all the information on the company. You can look our symbol MYSZ. You can see our everything to do with the press releases as well on the website, and on the symbol, everything's there.
Well, with that, Ronen, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Stay safe, and I look forward to our next update.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Next time on the beach in Tel Aviv, we'll do it together with shorts.
Let's do it.
All right.